This is the Team Objection podcast for August 16th, 2018, episode 355, and I just want you to look at what's happening on the screen right now. If you're able to, if you're still listening in the antiquated way with no video, I have nothing for you, but look, if I reach my hand over here, there's Michelle. Dave's in my frame. He's over there. Yep. I can get on there eventually. There's a finger. I can still reach over to Shaun's, but that's weird. He's always here. That's not any different. Yeah. Everybody is in Flagstaff.
We could totally all like hold hands and like.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kumbaya and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the sad part is the holding hands part wouldn't actually be on camera.
No.
Because it's all in between the cameras.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You look like you're 3 feet tall, Michelle.
I look so short.
The chair doesn't help.
Do you need a booster seat?
I might, actually. I feel very small in comparison. Well, you look outrageously tall, and I don't
That's
know.
the truth, though.
It's not, though.
This
How are
is
you taller
accurate.
looking than Chris?
Well, all of us are taller than 6 feet. 6 feet or taller comparatively to you,
Dude,
so
you're 6 feet?
I'm right at.
You are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you
Shaun's a
6
little
feet?
taller than him.
You're 6'1" or something? Oh, and then you're like 6 a million.
Yeah.
Six
Six
million.
a million. That is a number.
You round that up, that's about 4 million feet. Yeah. But you can also kind of tell from the chairs. We were talking about this before we went on air, but you can see just a little bit of Shaun's chair, a little bit more of Dave's, and then Michelle looks like she's a
I'm
4-year-old
swallowed up in the chair.
in
I
a chair
know.
built for 90-year-olds.
I know.
You know, I hope during the episode you just get lower and lower. It's like the chair's eating me.
We just sink out of frame gradually over time.
Yeah.
So we have the whole crew here. We talked about maybe discussing James Gunn and a few other things, and I guess we can still do that if people want to. That's up to you guys. We also have a game to play.
Game.
With all three of you here, we haven't had a competition between the three of you, I don't think, since episode 300 when we did the musical one.
I hope it ends in blood.
Why did you hope that?
Because I'm going to win.
It's going to be your blood.
No, I'm going to
Why
win.
do you want that?
He wants
Why
to
are you
kill
asking
you.
to die?
Maybe I'm a masochist. You don't know.
Yeah, that might be true. No
So,
judgment.
trivia first, serious discussion first. Don't do the serious discussion at all. Trivia will probably take about 30, 35 minutes.
I say we start with the game, and we go from there.
We
Okay.
game it. Game it up.
So, we're doing trivia,
Great.
like a few
That's-
times ago.
Excellent.
That's gonna be a real shame.
Shaun missed it last time, so it's
well,
his
now
first
he's
chance.
out of frame because he's so tall.
Right. So it's Shaun's first chance to assert dominance. Last time we did Disney-related ones. This time's going to be a little bit different.
If it's Marvel related, I'm screwed.
No, I wouldn't be that mean to you, although I did pick something that it might not be in your favor with two English majors in the room.
Grammar.
Oh, God.
No, I don't want to
He'd be
bore
good
the
at
listeners to
grammar.
death.
Not awful.
Yeah, so he's actually got pretty good writing base considering he's not a writer.
I
but-
just have no creativity. I'm
No,
technically
no.
sound.
All right, so before I explain the crux of this, we need to decide who's going first.
I'll go first.
All right, he spoke up first. Nose.
That's fine.
Shaun will be going first, and then who wants to go second? Because that also matters.
I can go second.
oh,
Dave doesn't. Or does that?
Then
you
touching
want
my
to?
nose was my claiming second.
Oh, then yeah, I don't care.
All right.
I'm
Use your
last.
words, Dave.
So Shaun, Dave, Michelle. I have to figure out a way to take score.
He said
I
the
don't have
nose.
my laptop up.
I could maybe take score.
Yeah.
If somebody has an app on their
that
phone,
always
because
ends
I'm
so well.
Yeah, last time was not. No, when we did one, it was fine.
well, this is going to be easy. It's only 1 point apiece for things. There's not like multiple point scales. And
I'll just hold my
weird things
fingers
going
up.
on.
My dad has a notes thing on his phone. I'm using my dad's phone because my mom took mine. Not away. No, it wasn't like I lost my privileges and.
Michelle,
grounded.
you are
Yeah.
texting too much.
I know. No, she just thought it was hers, I think, and then went off to church, and I'll never see her again. So that's cool.
Michelle's going to be like, oh, I won. I'm like,
No,
well,
weird. I don't know how
what
that
was the
happened.
score? It's really complicated, Shaun. Just trust me.
Don't ask.
So we're going to be going in order that you guys just chose. The order will change in each of the 3 rounds, but every answer is only worth 1 point. So you get it right or you don't. That's pretty much all there is to it. You get a point, etc. You have a chance to steal if the first person doesn't get it right, and that stealing order will go in the order we just decided, which is why it matters. And then we'll rotate for each round appropriately.
But then there's a bonus round worth 30 points.
Excellent.
So it's the jack attack, basically.
Good.
So Shaun, you're going to be going first, and you're like, what the hell is the trivia about?
God
well,
damn it. to
for
hell.
going first, you have now the choice. Do you want answers that start with A, answers that start with T, or answers that start with Q?
Oh.
This is choosing for the round, not for you individually.
A.
Okay.
Because A's first.
So round 1
A's
is
the
answers that
best.
start with A. Shaun going first, Dave second, Michelle third. I'm going to give you guys an extra hint. For the one that starts with A, this round, all the answers start with A-L.
Oh, interesting. So is there stealing?
Yeah, if somebody gets it wrong with their opportunity to go first, we'll go in order and have a
Okay.
chance to steal otherwise.
Okay.
So that's why the order matters. You guys didn't know why at the time, so you had no chance to rig it. Or did you? Anyways, Shaun, you're up first.
Okay.
I was once a famous island prison. Now I am a tourist attraction.
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz is a correct answer.
Suck it, Dave.
I mean, I knew that.
No, you didn't. I saw the confusion on your face.
That
You
was
were
all
like,
a game,
"Wow,
Shaun."
I'm so glad I didn't have this one. Taking off my glasses. I need to focus. I need to displace myself, so
Okay.
it's just me and the question.
Get zen. Okay, Dave. I am a hero of a story in the Arabian Nights.
Aladdin.
Aladdin is a correct answer.
Funny thing is, I was actually just going to yell out Aladdin when you said it's going to start with AL, and I'm like, that
Good.
could be an answer.
It's actually Alibaba.
Yeah, don't try and outsmart the question. You might
You're-
give things
you're
away.
wrong.
Yeah, Alibaba and the 10,000 million thieves.
Yeah.
Michelle, in the Middle Ages, I was used to try to turn base metal into gold.
Oh my god, why am I brain? It's oh my god.
There's a time limit.
Oh,
It's
like
gone.
alchemy. Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Alchemy
I was
is a
it was
correct
like
answer.
lead into gold is what it was, but I'm like A-L, no. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, back to Shaun. Everybody's got the first one right so far. This is a western province in Canada.
Alberta?
Damn it.
Alberta is a correct answer.
Ooh, boy.
I was going to steal that one.
I
Dave.
think
also
so,
knew that
do
one.
you?
When you dine outdoors, you eat.
Al fresca?
I will accept al fresco as a correct answer. Al fresco, but
Okay.
I didn't
the
know
endings
that.
of Italian and Spanish words can be a little janky.
That's only 0.5. If it comes
I
down to
didn't
it.
know that. I wouldn't have known.
I just tried to back my way into it. My first thought was a la mode. I'm like, that's
I
not
know,
it.
that's what I was thinking too.
Okay. Michelle, I am a figurative story.
A figurative story?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Do I get to seal?
Yeah, you're the one who's next.
Allegory.
We went
Oh,
clockwise,
yeah.
so this worked out well. It is allegory, so Shaun gets the point.
You can
Darn
tell
it.
I'm in a really good space right now, everyone. I'm doing great.
Shaun, I am a very large sea bird.
Aw.
Albatross.
Yep.
Albatross is the correct answer. Dave, I am a South American mammal bred from my long woolly hair.
Alpaca. Alpaca, something like that.
I'm sorry, you're incorrect.
The emphasis was wrong.
Yes. And Michelle, I'm a branch of math.
Algebra?
Algebra is the correct answer.
Okay.
So that's the end of the AL round. What's our score?
Shaun's got 4. Dave's got 3. I have 2.
Okay. So Dave, you will go first in round 2, then Michelle, then Shaun. So we keep the rotation the same, but the order's different. You still have the choice now of T or Q.
I am going to go with Q to be odd.
Q.
You're so odd.
You know what? I'm going to guess
Dave.
that the majority of these are going to start with QU.
What?
I know.
Wow.
Wait, are we going to get the same amount of questions this way? Because now Dave is doubling up. Because you went, and then Michelle went. She just got algebra, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't get to go again.
You
But
started.
I went
Started.
first. Okay.
Yeah. Everybody,
All right.
there's 9 in each one. So
Okay.
everybody gets 3. Okay, Dave. What is the name of the hunchback in Victor Hugo's The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Quasimodo.
Indeed.
Oh, we were
That's
on
correct.
Q. I was like, T.
Quasimodo?
Quasimodo. Twatsimodo. Michelle, who sang Bohemian Rhapsody?
Queen?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Michelle's doing a lot of scorekeeping. Very quick scorekeeping.
Yes. Shaun, what is a 4-sided polygon called?
Quadrilateral.
That's correct.
My
It's
first
meant to
thought-
be more rapid fire than
Yeah.
like hard. so
mine was
Oh,
like
I need to give you a point,
Q, but
sorry.
like QUBE, right?
Yeah.
It's 6-sided, but oops.
Dave, the 6th president of the United States had what middle name?
Quincy.
Yikes.
John Quincy
John
Adams.
Quincy Adams.
Yep.
Yes. Michelle, what's another word for a line of waiting people?
A Q.
That is correct.
Yeah,
answer.
that's what the answers start with. So
Yeah, I
give me
know.
the answer.
It's
That's
like
the
a
letter for this
cute
round.
Have you ever
sneeze.
seen people spell that with CUE?
Yes, I have.
Oh my god.
I'm like, oh, honey, you tried.
You don't know.
You tried your best, but
Yeah.
Shaun, who was George H.W. Bush's, the first one's, vice president?
It's, Cue Bert.
Man, I wish. He was so hot back then.
He like bounced on those
that's
things,
delightful.
and yeah.
Dave?
Dan Quayle.
Dan Quayle is a correct answer.
Yeah, no. I was happy. I should have just passed it.
That's all right. We'll see if Dave gets this one. But they get a little bit harder as we go, although the algebra one was a bad example. But usually they get a little bit harder as we go through the round. Dave, what's the name of the computer in the VeggieTales series?
Stupid.
What?
It's so esoteric. The Quagmalora. I don't know.
Quagmalora is
That's
not a correct
delightful.
answer. I like to
Oh, man.
guess, though.
I don't know.
If that had been right, think about how mad they would
I would have
been.
just jumped up and celebration.
Yeah, you're done.
Knocked
Show's
everything over.
All right, Michelle, a chance to steal.
Not a clue.
Sean, chance to
The
steal.
Quill.
You're going to hate it when you hear it because obviously you don't know unless you know it, but QWERTY
Oh my god.
for the first row of keys.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but again, I mean, if you don't know it, how are you going to guess? Michelle, what's another word for a doctor who doesn't know what he's doing?
Quack?
Quack is a correct answer.
I love that that's a synonym for charlatan.
And Sean, the last one. Which of the books in the Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice starts with a Q?
Queen of the Damned.
Queen of the Damned
would
is
be
a
my
correct
guess.
answer.
Okay.
Well done. I had no guess on that one.
Yikes.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it's after,
Never
let's
read
see, that's Interview with the Vampire, and then
It's the only one I knew.
Vampire of Lestat. And I think that's third. And I don't know the rest. I haven't read them, but I know of them. Okay, so what's our score at the end of round 2?
Sean's got 6. Dave's got 6. I have 5.
It's close.
Damn.
It is.
All right, so then the final round goes Michelle, Sean, Dave. Michelle, you don't get to choose because all we have left is answers starting with T. But you get to go first, so you're going to have a chance to tie right away.
Yeah.
This T is the word for what a witness provides in a criminal court.
Testimony.
Testimony is a correct answer. Sean, this T is an item of clothing that it has to do with people who are disloyal.
What? Oh.
I don't know. Tunic.
Dave,
Word.
I
It's a
believe
good
it's a
word.
turncoat.
turncoat is a
Oh.
correct
I was
answer.
thinking traitor.
That was. Okay. All
like-
right.
It's like a reversible coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know the phrase.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Did-
I just
Should I tell
Disloyal.
you?
I was not. All right, that makes sense though.
Dave. Well, that's the way the order went. Which of these dances, or not which of these, which dance starting with T originated in Argentina?
the tango.
Tango is a correct answer. Michelle, which T word is a synonym for lukewarm?
Tepid.
Ooh,
Tepid is a correct answer.
that would not have come to me right away.
Sean, what word describes both a native of Tangiers and a fruit?
Shit. And a fruit. I don't know. Tapioca? No clue.
Tangerine.
There better not be tangerine.
Tangerine is a correct
Yeah.
answer.
Motherfucker, that was the first thing I thought of.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
I was like, how is that describing someone from a country?
That's what they call people from
I,
Tangiers.
my first thought was like
Tangerines.
Tangia. I'm like,
I was thinking
I should have thought
Tangelo.
more of the name, yeah. All right.
All right, Dave.
Dave's taking it away.
Which of these, starting with the letter T, is the study of earthquakes?
Tease. Study of earthquakes. Tectonics.
Tectonics is a correct answer. Michelle, what's the score, by the way? Since we're getting near the end, where are we at?
Sean has 6. Dave has 10, and I have 7.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I meant when you said you're taking it away.
Oh.
You stole
Yay.
like 2. So.
All right. Michelle, this T is a bird that's a member of the finch family.
Wow, why can't I think of this?
So you kind of like burbs,
I love burbs. Oh,
as it happened to work out here, but
I'm blocked. I know what it is. As soon as you say it, I'll know, but I can't think of it off the top
I'm
of my
gonna
head.
say toucan. I don't think that's right.
No.
It starts with a T, though.
Tanager. Is that what it is?
Is it the titmouse?
It is not.
Okay.
It is the tanager,
Oh.
which Dave could have stolen from you for a point, but it doesn't matter. We'll give you a half point since you got it after your time was up.
I would never would have gotten there.
No,
Not on that
either.
one.
Yeah, the last one of these ended up being a little bit more difficult. Shaun, in what... Yeah, no, I guess it's with... I'm only now realizing this answer doesn't start with T.
No. Well, you're on your own now,
Great.
Shaun.
In what part of the body is the tympanum
Oh.
located? The answer does not start with T.
The question is
Yeah, I got lied to on this quiz.
you did like a Jeopardy thing.
I mean, I'll guess foot, but
It's not the foot. Dave?
Inner ear.
That was my guess.
Ear is the correct answer, like the timpani.
Yep.
And Dave, just to pile on, which musical instrument was Joshua alleged to have used at the walls of Jericho? How's your biblical knowledge today?
I know the walls came a-tumbling down.
They sure did. And tumbling starts with a T, but that's not the instrument.
The trumpet.
Trumpet is a correct answer.
I mean, what else could it be?
Trombone.
I mean,
tuba,
yes.
I couldn't stop thinking about
Timpani.
timpani now. And I was
The
like,
trumpet is the one that like announces things, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I would have gone with
Harold.
trumpet.
yeah. So
Trumpet's a good guess.
I like
All
trivia.
right, what's the final score, Michelle? Give Dave
Shaun
his
has-
reward.
Shaun has 6. Dave has
12?
12. And I have 7.5.
Well, there you have it, Dave.
See why I wanted it to end in blood? It would not have been mine.
The last time we did trivia, you
Trivia's in my
killed me.
wheelhouse.
You
Trivia
killed
is
me. Like I think it was you were far ahead by like 5 points. Or something.
General knowledge is my wheelhouse. You want to get specific music knowledge or video game?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I'm not good at that. But general knowledge, yeah.
I liked it when it was words. That was the fun part for me.
Yeah.
Tepid. That was a good one.
I know that was a good one. I fixate on topics, and so if it's something that I know really well, but general knowledge, not so much. Common sense, none, 0.
Zilch.
So Courtney and I have been trying to get out a little bit and go to like trivia nights and like bar trivia nights. It's usually just the two of us, and we've come in second or third each of the past couple times we go.
Nice.
That's against tables of people with like 4 or 5 people too. So feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, you're good at it. Some people just have a knack for acquiring general knowledge.
Well, like
It's
the
cool.
al fresco one, I like backed my way into that. I'm
I
like,
had no clue what that was.
I was thinking like, okay, well, I know it's not a la mode because that's the first thing my mind went to.
Same.
Right.
But then it was
Outdoor
like,
ice cream.
I knew it was all something because it was another language. I'm like, well, fresh is outside, so that's fresca, sure.
Some people have nothing better to do and
Pretty much,
nothing
yeah.
to live for.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so they fill their
Uh-oh.
time.
You got it,
with
sir.
General
oh, no.
knowledge.
Oh
and-
no.
I just sit there studying books of just like random knowledge. That's exactly what
Yeah.
I do because that's how you win at Jeopardy, right?
Yeah.
I feel bad because Shaun got one that didn't start with T. But then again,
True.
it didn't really affect the end of it, so it's not that
No.
bad. If
He
it had been
could've- he could've beat
controversial,
me.
that would have been bad. If it had been a 1-point thing, uh-oh. But it wasn't, so it's
Well,
fine.
it's a good thing this wasn't Pokemon trivia. I would have lost.
Do you remember, Shaun, when we went like on an awkward creek excursion many years ago with that weird guy, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
was making me really uncomfortable. And so instead of addressing the issue at all, because it was the weirdest, we decided to name all of the Pokemon, and we just,
All
like,
150 Pokemon.
we were-
That was our topic.
and,
Because
yeah, and it was just trying to like offset the creepy.
It was
that
much
going
better.
on. It was much better.
So you just lucked out in the sense that he didn't know that.
he knew some of them, but
Okay.
it didn't matter
It was
because that was
distracting
the focus of the conversation.
Ah.
Right,
uh-huh,
other than
uh-huh,
whatever
uh-huh.
else was going on. I am
Yeah.
unclear still,
Man,
but
I always
yeah.
feel bad for people who don't understand that they're creepy. Like they're not trying to be. They just
He knew.
okay. That's like I don't feel any
Oh.
sympathy for
He
them.
knew what
But,
was
like,
going on.
I know
Yeah.
there's times I've been probably looked at as creepy because I don't understand that I'm being creepy.
Yeah, or the people who miss social cues are also, that's rough.
That's me.
Who don't get
Yeah.
the hint when you try to let them down gently, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm just going to have to tell you, like, this isn't working.
I would
I'm sorry.
so prefer that.
Dave, when you insulted 2 answers in Quiplash and I dug into you for the rest of the 2 hours,
Uh-huh.
did you get the hint?
No.
He did not.
Are you kidding me?
What, that you insulted me for
I
2 hours?
relentlessly insulted you for that specific response for the rest of the game.
I clearly don't remember this.
What was the? I'm confused. What was the response?
Dave does a thing.
Let's just get
Let's
into
see
it.
if you get this
Roll up the
now that I'm
sleeves.
being direct.
You are being direct. I will
Glasses
understand
are
this.
coming back on. So
Oh no.
Oh shit.
so in Quiplash,
He's just ready to go.
I feel like everybody's, you're kind of putting yourself out there a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had an answer, and not everyone, either you don't have a lot of time or it's a category that just doesn't resonate with you. And where the answer, none of the answers are like great. And Dave is like, can I just not vote for either of these? These are both stupid. And I was just
kinda mean.
like,
See,
no.
that's where the awkwardness comes from, because I didn't think that it would actually hurt somebody's feelings. Because
So it wasn't even one of my answers, but the rest of the time I was like, everybody, please consult Dave in his comedy club class. Dave is the expert. He's the comedic genius.
man, see, I never would take it that way.
Wow.
Because it wouldn't, like, to me, if someone said that out loud, I wouldn't be like, oh, wow, they must be so sophisticated that they... No, I just been like, oh, these were just crappy answers. It happens.
Look at the giant brain on that guy. Wow.
Not at all what I would think, so... Yep,
Well,
awkward as shit.
man.
That's me.
A little clueless. Yeah, I think
Yep.
we all
Oh,
are.
I'm
You know what, though?
Ways.
That's the best, like, counter defense. Seriously.
Well,
because
ignorance.
I was going hard at you, and
Right.
you were like, I don't even notice.
He didn't have a reason. He didn't think there was a reason for you to have gone at him, so he didn't
I
even
know.
consider the possibility that you were, because he's like, oh, I just said a
Oh,
thing.
no. I noticed you were being a dick. Don't get me wrong.
But he's like, well, it was Tuesday. I mean, what's the
Yeah.
difference from any
Yeah.
other time?
That's true.
All right, so now that we had a great time, let's talk about James Gunn.
So I think this just came out yesterday about, like, people wanted him back, right? After his whole 10 years ago tweets, which, I don't know, I guess you can address that first. Should you really be held to the same standard as something you did 10 years ago that people dig up after you've already made something just because you became famous?
Not if you've already apologized for it like he had.
So why...
Yeah,
I hate this idea that you screwed up so long ago, so we're going to judge you for it now after we find out. It's like blaming somebody after... just because they got famous almost.
Well, I think the whole idea is that people should be held accountable for the things that they've done. However, I didn't know about the apology stuff and that he was held accountable, I'm guessing, at some point. And so it's kind of like, I'm glad nobody saw any of my posts and stuff from 10 years ago because I'm a totally different person than I
That's
was.
exactly what I'm talking about.
And so it really depends on the nature of it, the actual, like, what was in it. And but it's this whole like culture of like pulling receipts on people is getting kind of ridiculous in my opinion. It again, depending on what it is, I don't know.
If you killed somebody 10 years ago, okay, then you know what? I'm going to say that should probably be,
I mean,
that one should probably be a little
Yeah,
judged.
that
But
receipt matters a little more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But the other, I don't know, it's just like all of us have something. Varying degrees, but all of us have something stupid we've done in the past. So what? We're going to judge? How judgmental do you want to be, and how famous do you have to be to judge them?
I didn't even think they were that bad. There were some that were
They
like,
were
okay, that
dumb.
one's a little bad. Overall, they weren't that funny. There was a
No.
couple of them that was like, okay, I actually think that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And especially if it's like the ones where it's like almost making fun of like hypermasculinity and then taking it like way too far. It's like, okay, that kind of amuses me.
yeah.
But there were so many. Like he would focus on like one topic, and it was like child rape, like over
Yeah.
and over and over again. And that's the part where I was like, do you have like a personal issue here? What's your deal?
But also, like, tastelessness doesn't necessarily mean you should be, like, punished 10 years later for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
right.
like, it's not like he was actually going out and, like, as far as we know, raping children.
But
like,
yeah, again,
that's
different story.
different
If that's the
story.
case.
And you
That
should
you
be
need
held
receipts
accountable
for.
Yeah.
differently. Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like usually we reward risk takers. And in that instance, if you're making risque jokes, they might be tasteless, they might not be good, but they're taking risks. So not saying we should reward them all the time, but still, like, why punish them for taking risks?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but then again, in the last 12 hours of this recording, new stuff has come out about him, where apparently he's attending parties that are themed after How to Catch a Predator. So he was, yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
pedophilia themed
Okay, explain.
parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently
Oh.
in the pictures, I just saw this. So apparently there were pictures that were taken where he's like dressed up as a Catholic priest, and there's two like girls who are dressed up in like schoolgirl, young girl outfits and stuff. Here, so okay, it sounds really tasteless and stupid, but then again, it's, I don't know, it's almost shaming someone for a sexual kink almost, but he's not actually raping children, so
Yeah, that actually is it's a kink for sure.
yeah.
And
So I don't understand. Like, now we're gonna shame him because he has a kink.
was a-
Like, I thought
it
we
was
were
a
supposed to be
themed
open
party.
about sexuality.
Well,
That's
and
tough.
but then the part two, the issue is that it's Disney, right?
Yes.
So
And that's again I would say that's their right if they don't want
Sure.
that type of thing.
It is.
Go ahead. But I don't know, the public damning of him is always what I have a problem with.
It fits the pattern, though, too, is the problem.
Yeah.
That's
if
also
people
true.
were already leery about the thought that he could be a pedophile based on the amount of jokes he made about kids back in the day, this now gets added to that, and people go,
That's
even though they might not be related at all, but people are still going to conflate the two.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's hard not to at that point. Ooh, that's a little
I
rough.
don't think he should be fired. Like when we get down to it, should he be fired or not? I don't think so.
No.
Even with all of that, I don't think so. And I know Disney's image, but like the issue to me is the cast supporting him. That's one. They obviously want him back. He already has a script done. He's playing a big part in like shaping their whole next phase. And I had a second point, and now I'm trying. What was it? Oh, the fact that they're like the way they're arranging it. They're saying he could work for Marvel and Disney again.
Yeah, they were thinking
Later.
about bringing him back already.
What's
And you're
the
like,
point?
well, then if you're gonna just bring it back for something else, why do it at
This
all?
is
Then
a lot of smoke and mirrors if that's the case. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah.
it's just stupid. Then
At that point, you might as well just let him finish this and then cut your ties with them,
Right.
as opposed to waiting an arbitrary amount of time and then bringing them back later.
And I almost think as an image thing, if you shrug your shoulders and say, okay, look, like he did this thing, it sucks. We're going to let him finish the movies. We would lose this much money if we don't. And then we're cutting ties. That's one thing. To say we're going to bring him back later, isn't that almost then the image is almost that you're condoning it more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or
So
what about if they release some sort of statement that says like, he hasn't necessarily done anything wrong, but we don't like this image. So if more things come out, then he will be released. That type of thing, like final warning, almost type of thing.
I don't think they
that
need
feels
to
fair.
release
They don't
anything.
have to, but
I
it could be
don't-
told to him that way.
Yeah,
Even
right,
that's
right.
weird because a lot of this came up because there are certain alt-right individuals who are digging around for this information in the first place. So if anything, that's almost a call to action to them to be like, oh, one more thing and he's gone, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Why do
Yeah.
people care? I don't know. Like,
It's-
why do people want to spend the time doing that is what I can't figure out.
I'm sure they feel pretty great
I wonder
Right now.
why. Like,
to have a person vocal against Trump and then go into his they're feeling pretty proud that they've ruined this guy's career.
yeah, there's
Or
political
they-
kickback here for the
Yeah.
same reason that the Me Too movement has silenced a lot of people on both sides, but particularly a lot of Fox News personalities, including the guy who ran the whole company and its most prominent nightly host. That's a factor.
I mean, just finding that stuff as a person in the public is just such a level of Schadenfreude. Like, ha ha ha! I made him suffer, which is just ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Makes me
gross
feel-
way to live life.
Yeah,
no
no
doubt
kidding.
about that. But
Yeah.
it's get backs for a lot of people. It's they had these people do it, so I'm going to do it too.
Man, that's bad.
An eye for an eye, and the world goes.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a certain weird moratorium to everything. One of the ones I struggled with is anytime there are allegations of sexual impropriety, not like assault or anything. That's one thing, but just weird things like we have all seen videos of back in like the 1950s where you could slap a secretary on the ass, and that was just a thing that you could do because the world was a much weirder and more horrible place back then. But if you're taking receipts on that in 2016, when it was behavior that was, I don't want to say condonable, but very different at the time, it's like, can you ruin someone's career over something that happened 40 years ago, 50, 60?
yeah. Where's the moratorium on that?
It's also weird to me. If things at the time didn't necessarily make it wrong, but it is wrong now, can you hold responsibility against them for something that happened back then?
And isn't that almost on the company that hired them for accepting that it was there when they hired him?
Partially, if they're aware of it, yeah.
They might not have
Sometimes
been.
the allegations come out after they've
Yep.
been hired to a place,
I
though,
know.
so you can't really hold the companies
No,
responsible
you can't.
for that then.
It's just there is such a rabbit hole you can go down in so many of these things, and I don't want to defend people who do immoral things or illegal things, but I don't know, it's just like almost a witch hunt so often.
Yeah, well, that's my issue. Is like now it should be separate issues.
Yes.
The tweets should be one thing, and then the fact that they these right, whatever you want to call them, found these tweets for the sabotage. That it should be a different thing, but it's not to me. And by firing him, you're condoning it, and you're saying that they won. And I hate that.
Yeah. No. So, we're all in agreement on this. I didn't.
I mean,
Didn't
that's what are you
necessarily
gonna
see
do?
No
Yeah.
fighting. Great.
Is sexual assault bad?
It
Let's
generally
have
is.
a talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
we're all gonna
Totally
agree.
fine. Let's
Yeah.
just move on from that.
I mean, hashtag not all men.
Oh God.
Is that a thing now?
Oh, that's a thing, all right.
All right.
It's been a thing for a while,
Oh, good.
actually.
I think that was pretty much instantaneous.
Mm-hmm.
Which
with like the Me Too movement.
yeah,
it's gross. If you have to be the person to be, well, not all. It's kind of like I'm a nice guy. It's like if you have to
Milady.
say that, then you might want to rethink it. But anyway.
I hate the fact that people feel so threatened that they have to actually say that. Like,
Yeah.
no one is accusing all men of this.
No one.
But here we are anyways.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Some people feel that sentiment, though, is that they are accusing all men. It's like, well, you're a man, so there you go. Some people feel that way. Not necessarily that it's right, but I know that people do.
Readjust their thinking. I don't know. Like, there are some people out there who are like, men are trash, all of them, and I don't care. And like, that is incorrect. But this is true.
And unhelpful. But a lot of things in this are unhelpful.
Some people just have reactionary feelings about things, and that is what it is. But
I just feel like you lose sight. Like, Me Too has kind of grown beyond what it started as, but at its core, it was this kind of eye-opening thing where pretty much all women on Facebook were like, yeah, sexual assault in some way, that has happened to me too.
Yeah.
And as a guy, you should think, wow, that's terrible. I hope I did not contribute to that.
Right. And here's how
I want to be an ally.
Yeah. Here's how I can make sure I never do something like that in the future, moving forward. Like, that's the whole point. It's not me pointing a finger and being like, you are bad. Like, you do all these horrible things. It's just like raising awareness.
It was awareness. Yeah, exactly. Awareness.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, I sure hope I haven't. God, I don't think I ever had. Not
You
intentionally.
are
That's
super
for damn
awkward,
sure.
so who knows?
I
You
know.
must have done a
This is
thing.
my problem.
You've been hurting women's feelings for years and have had no clue.
No, there's no way. Like, if you have to think about it and be like, I don't know, then you never have. You're fine.
I don't know. Maybe I lingered, like a girl walked by and I went like this for 2 seconds.
That's not
and
a
like,
hashtag Me Too moment. I'll tell you that right now.
I mean,
It's not.
I don't know.
You looked
not.
at a woman, you son of a bitch.
No, not at all. You're
That's
fine.
the other
She's
problem.
cute.
People bring that stuff too. It's like, so I don't even know if I can look at women anymore. It's like, you're a
Oh my
fucking
god,
idiot. Shut up.
I've heard that too. It's so silly.
Can I compliment a woman anymore? What if they take it the wrong way? It's like,
Then who cares? Move on. Like, if
Well,
if they don't want the compliment, fine.
Yeah.
They don't have to accept the compliment.
Hope not.
So it's okay, everyone.
Well, make it a tasteful compliment, maybe.
right.
You know, if you're worried about it.
I don't know if I can tell a woman how nice her ass is anymore. Well, I mean, you probably shouldn't have been doing that in the first place, at least as an opener.
Might want to do that when you're like dating the person.
Yeah,
right?
maybe take her to dinner first and then.
Yeah.
But that's not a greeting.
No.
Nice ass is not something you lead a
I was
conversation
across
with.
the room and I couldn't help but notice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it was a really nice ass.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
the thing that you
she
just
should know that.
Very deep
just-
down in there.
I felt like she should know that.
The cool thing is that we know. If we have a nice ass, we're aware. We got it. We
gotta
don't
tell
need
us.
you to tell us. We're
Guys
good.
too.
Yeah.
Guys know if they have a nice butt.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Maybe they like the affirming nature of it, but they don't need it. You know.
Yeah, we know.
I don't. So I'm like, fine. That's my lot in life.
True.
Man, we're too silent on this because we have so agreeants. so
I know.
agreeant.
There's
I
no
know.
controversy. Even Shaun wasn't willing to try and take the opposite side like he was back in the day. He would
Nah,
go contrarian pretty hard on
way
some
too
stuff, but here,
sensitive.
there's
Way too
nothing you
sensitive.
can do.
I'm just so like I'm tired about the same stuff over and over again. You know, it's just like it's not worth trying to be contrarian because I'm so tired of it.
I do have questions. I actually brought up a question the other day that puts me like probably in like non-ally territory. So maybe I should bring that up.
Yeah,
If
there you
I'm
go.
gonna be- So
Plug your ears. Plug your ears.
no. I think that this is why I want to. I want this opinion because I think it gets into like really contradictory territory, and so I'm confused. So the idea of like the whole the free the nipple and the one and then one thing leads to another. So it's like free the nipple. I'm like I get that because you're not supposed to sexualize breasts, and then I start thinking. If you're telling me what I can sexualize or not sexual, like what I just feel, like there's no choice. It's just like how I am.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like to me, that's the same argument of like, well, that far right or super religious people are like, just don't be attracted to the same sex. You should be attracted to this thing. And it's like, if you're attracted to what you're attracted to, why is it okay for like some people to not sexualize it? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And I'm not trying to make excuses for like,
No.
look how hard my life is as a cis white man. I really have a
But
question.
it is.
No, I don't think maybe the messaging is wrong here. I mean, yes, I think ultimately like breasts are for like reproductive purposes for your children or whatever, but like there is a connection with sexuality, I think, and I don't know if that's necessarily something that's completely argued, but it's more of like how men react to when women are using them for the reproductive purpose.
I mean, after of course seeing children being fed, I can't understand being aroused in any way by breastfeeding because it's not
Right.
a sexy
Right,
thing.
because breastfeeding is absolutely not.
And I think there's a difference. So like breastfeeding in public, awesome, like that's great. But then where I get confused is where women are like, men are allowed to go out without shirts on.
Yeah.
Why can't we
So,
also go out without shirts on?
Here's where I have a question.
And that's
on
where
that.
I'm like, that's where I get into this. Like, well,
That's
I have
tough.
questions.
So is it a problem? Let's say this is that situation where you free the nipple, like women can go out topless if they want. If a man is to be aroused by that and does nothing about it, is it a problem?
No.
Okay, because I feel like
No.
there is almost a backlash saying, hey, they're not supposed to be sexualized, so you're not allowed to be aroused
That
by
just
it.
feels like repression territory,
Exactly.
right? And that's not
Exactly.
cool. Like it's kind of like you're attracted to what you're attracted
Yeah.
to, but it's how you behave
That's the
to
whole
those things.
point, yeah.
Yeah. I do feel like there is too much of a backlash. Like, how dare you be attracted to breasts? As like and I think that's silly. Honestly, I do. Like.
It's kind of hardwired in for many people.
I think I mean, maybe it's hardwired. Maybe it's in a biological sense. Maybe it's societal. I think it might be to a large extent. And there's a lot
It's
of
both.
cultures that women are topless, and it feels very. But we can't escape the societal kind of like barriers we've put out. Like it's really hard to do, and it's certainly not something that we could do in our lifetimes.
No.
We suddenly couldn't just be like, you know what, everyone can go topless, and then in like 15 years, no one sees breasts as like anything sexual. That's not how that works.
Even so, even if you did, they still can be if you
Sure.
want to make it that way.
Yeah.
So
there was a TED talk about because I feel like this is related territory. You can be the judge in a second. There was a TED talk about how like we need to be more accepting to pedophilia, because at the end of the day, one, it's just like people are attracted to what they're attracted to on like a mental level, and
Yep.
the other, it's, well, I don't think the TED talk put it like this, but like if it's an illness or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
it's like there's a chemical thing going on there, and some people I know on Facebook, these were also pro-Trump. I don't know if there's a relation there, but they were like, if a pedophile comes near my kid, I don't want to give them help. I don't want to try to give them support. I want to kill them and probably torture them first.
but what if they haven't done anything wrong? Like
It doesn't matter to her, because she even said that. I don't care if they've acted on it or not. If they even are thinking it and they're around my kids, they're
that's
done.
disgusting.
Well,
That
once we
is
get to the thought
disgusting.
level, we're going to be in trouble as a nation, because a lot of people are going to get killed for a lot of different things.
Yeah.
No kidding. I just feel like in that case, it's like I almost feel sympathy for that person who
Oh,
may have this
absolutely.
this abnormal attraction that could hurt people in that instance,
Yeah.
and they don't know how to deal with it or what to do with it. Like I
Well,
feel so much
yeah.
sympathy towards
well,
that.
and the amount of stigmatization of it, and it should be. It's completely like
Well,
never should
yes.
act on it.
It
Obviously,
hurts someone else, yes.
But I think there needs to be more empathy towards people who are going through, and I think maybe we need to like address it on like a scientific level, figure out what's actually going on, and address it that way. Because yeah, it is not normal.
That's-
but
Well, they were saying like some company apparently is releasing like I'm making it sound like I've bought it myself. They're
Shaun, do you wanna
releasing
talk
like
about something?
children, like child dolls, and the idea is these people. The
So
thinking is if
sad.
they get out these urges with these dolls, these things that aren't real, it will prevent them from acting on it in
it's
a
like
harmful
heartbreaking.
way.
It's heartbreaking to me.
And the response was, these are sick fucks, and we need to don't help them, don't enable them.
I mean, I almost
they need
would-
to be put away.
I mean, if it's gonna come down to one or the other, I would.
That's kind of. Thank you, Dale. You're justifying my purchase.
No, I mean no.
No, but still, like that. I was thinking, this is a way. This is an outlet that is healthy. Is probably the wrong word, but like it's non-destructive.
Yeah.
Outlet.
Yeah. You know what's funny
I
is
don't know.
I think people used to look at homosexuality in this exact same way. Not that they're the same thing, that pedophilia and
Yeah, be
homosexuality are.
careful.
No. I'm just saying people used to look at homosexuality as a mental illness.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting how it changes over
Transgender
time.
probably would be something even
absolutely.
similar to that. Uh-huh.
It looks. People used to look at it this way. So
Yeah.
People still look at transgender people
Well,
as
They,
some people
they
do.
do. They do.
Some do.
I just think it's a tough stance to take if you're giving a TED talk about we need to be more supportive of pedophilia. And I get that, but the more I was like listening to it and these arguments, the more I was like, I think there is a point to that,
Mm-hmm.
I think this might be a really weird, like, correlation, but I think there's a lot of people who are also very pro like legalizing all drugs. It's a similar kind of thing because then you're opening up the avenues for more education about how to more treatment plans, more studies, and I think that like education and knowledge is probably like the most important thing you can gather from stuff like this because it's clearly their illnesses and this addiction is a huge problem and it needs to be addressed, not ignored, not pushed under the under the rug. And it's similar to I think pedophilia.
I mean, and that's so hard too with drugs because like you're like you can't legalize heroin.
Can you?
You
they
can't.
have been
There's
in
no
certain
way.
countries.
And then you think about it and you're like, if you legalize heroin, like right now you're getting shit on the streets that's like. You don't know what's in it.
Way worse for
and
you.
like it's killing people like crazy. I've heard some of our like epidemics with drug and overdoses. It's like higher than it's ever been, and people are just eating the shit up.
I know.
And so maybe you can if it's gonna eventually lead to.
Won't happen here.
No, it's sad.
No, there's no way.
No.
As someone who the hardest drug I ever do is ibuprofen, I'm totally in favor of legalizing it because there's so many other benefits you can get out of it.
But they tried to put something on the ballot for this year in Arizona. It was just a legalized all drugs movement, and it got thoroughly.
Well, I mean, even in
rejected.
2016, the legalized recreational marijuana, got voted down. I'm like,
poorly written. To
yes,
be fair, it really should have been shot down. So,
and I get it though. I get the idea of not legalizing it too because if you're thinking right now my kids don't have access, whether that is right or wrong, it's harder if it's illegal to get access at all.
Harder, but not impossible.
I don't actually agree with that.
Sometimes you're right about that. Sometimes it's easier to get access when you're a child, especially.
I think the mentality of these parents is it's going to be harder. Whether or not that's the reality.
Marijuana, especially in legalized states, I think it's harder for kids to get marijuana.
I would say so because the avenues you have to go through to actually get weed from a dispensary is a lot. You have to have and you would have maybe.
And they'd be shut down if they sell to kids.
It would be a big deal, and it kind of eliminates the competition. There's not a lot of people selling it illegally.
Why would they?
But the idea is like, okay, cocaine. I don't know where to start if I were to go get.
You don't.
No, I don't. But so here's the idea. I don't know where to start to get cocaine. I am not interested in it at all. It's something that would never even come on my radar. If it was legalized and I could just go do it, I'm like, such and such author I know was on cocaine and they have vouched for it. Maybe I should just try it. And it changes the mentality.
True, but I think it wouldn't become an addiction problem at that point for you.
Maybe. Well, you're saying you think it doesn't, and I'm telling you, it would at least enter my thought of consideration. Mm-hmm. Whereas right now, there's no way.
Yeah. But then again, is it going to hurt you? I don't know. Because I'm in the same boat as you.
Probably not, because you could regulate it, and it wouldn't be...
You'll be fine.
You know what I'm saying?
You'd be hyper for 20 minutes, and you'd be like, oh, I'm out of Coke. That's a shame.
I don't know. I've seen Pulp Fiction.
Very accurate representation.
I mean, not inaccurate, maybe, but yeah. No, it's a little bit different. But I don't know. It's a tough subject. I'm actually glad you brought that up, though, because there is no clear answer, and I think there's a lot that our society already kind of holds very near and dear that would be impossible to shake from it, and that would need to happen for a lot of these changes to be made.
I think people just hold on to these tenets of what's normal.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
they
do.
Changes,
and they need to not have their status quo disrupted at all.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest issue.
Fortunately, change does happen. We've seen it.
It's good.
And
It's a good
very
thing.
good. And I think that overall, though I don't know, lately the trend has been really stressful for me to watch.
It's been pushed back.
Yeah.
People who have been used to the way things are for so long, and now everything's changing in front of them, and they're like, uh-oh, what's going on? So there's this extra voice of pushback, which...
Yeah.
Isn't it to me, it's like the whole Joker, it's what disrupts the plan. And I say that because people have always in their personal lives gone against the status quo. That's all the priests molesting kids or whatever. But popular opinion, you can't do that. And you can't have, and maybe that's a bad example because no one's arguing that you should be able to molest kids. But this idea that
you did earlier.
People are saying one thing, how society needs to be, and then in their personal lives they're doing whatever. But they want that distinction still. Mm-hmm. They want to be able to do their shit. They don't want you to be able to do it, and they don't want it to be publicly accepted.
Oh, how judgmental!
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, of course.
Ugh.
But I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, it is.
And I hate when people have, hey, this is just all we have to do. It'll be fixed if we just all do this.
Yeah,
That's the
just one
other
thing.
thing. I know. Just some people, like a lot of social justice warriors, I know they mean well, but they don't understand like the social implications of anything.
Or
really, it
understand,
just seems like
or understand how maybe other people think.
We were
Right.
talking about this on Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
So we're in an episode where it's like government where it's like women are made to be impregnated and men are there to impregnate them in these like ceremonies. There's no lust. There's nothing sexual about it.
Oh, he touched her leg in that one, though.
Oh, I know. But then, so like everything is supposed to be for these beliefs for the benefit of mankind. It's not about your own personal gain. It's about the greater good. And yet you find these brothels where the 1%ers are still able to get away with everything from the old world still.
Hypocrisy.
And they're the ones who are like, you can't do it.
Yeah.
This is about the beliefs. This is about the greater good.
about
We're
control.
true believers. And yet they still do it because they can.
People are hypocritical.
And that's...
Who knew?
Yeah, I know.
Who
Dude,
knew?
I like every episode. I'm like, man, this show is genius. I really feel that.
I haven't had the guts to watch it.
No,
It's not
It's
easy.
rough.
It's not
No.
easy.
It's
I
really
know.
rough, but they managed to do commentary on like our world right now
Yeah.
in like so many different interesting ways and so
I-
many different topics.
I need to watch it. I need to just buck up and do it, but I haven't gotten there yet.
There's like the obvious ones about sexuality and how we treat women, but then there's also like fear and government and those like tactics, and it's just oh my god, so good. I don't know if the books are good. I don't know how closely they follow the books or
Pretty close. Courtney read it.
Okay.
It's the first season followed it pretty closely.
okay. It's good shit. It really is. Handmaid's Tale.
One day I'll get to it. We could talk about it.
All right, everybody got everything off their chests? Satisfied?
Yeah, I
Good.
feel great.
Good.
I've got a good release.
Good. We needed to have a chance to rant about something, so this was good.
Rant and rave.
Couldn't all just be trivia about letters of the alphabet. That's silly.
I mean,
But fun.
it's way easier.
It is. It's way
Well, yeah, I didn't have
easier.
to think so hard about that part of the segment. I was
No.
trying to answer. Otherwise, it was fine.
I mean, tepid was the worst thing I had to deal with in that one because
Tepid?
I couldn't think of the word right away.
Yeah, lukewarm.
I love that word. It's like
temperature.
I don't know why. It's like always kind of in like my back pocket. I'm like tepid. I don't I don't know why that word in
Tepid.
particular. It's my
I
I
life.
use that word a
Tepid.
lot. Like
I do too.
Dave is coming to visit. You would say my response
Yeah, just say
was
it's,
tepid.
those two words are linked. It's always tepid response.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny how Shaun told me this morning, Dave, I really just want to hang out with you.
That never happened. I was like, I love hanging out with you, Dave. I'm so glad you can come to visit. And that didn't happen, though, actually.
Different people hear different things, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, that's the end of this particular episode. We'll see you next Thursday for another in-between shows. You can find us at our website, objectionnetwork.com, on social media at Team Objection. The places listed on the bottom of the screen. That's only true if you're watching on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/objectionnetwork. And finally, you can send emails to the show to objectionnetwork@gmail.com. See you next time.